Damn, they got the original World on it. What they got? Rock apparel on this bitch? Beeping, you watching? What?
What are you doing?
Playing the game.
What?
Playing the game.
Where's my nephew?
Daycare.
Oh, so you're just not gonna look. You got a baby and your motherfucking
What the hell you talking about?
and a dog, but you're not gonna look at
Hey, nigga, shit, shut up. What's up?
We know the truth.
honestly irritating you, but I was just trying to find
I thought I was supposed to watch my damn nephew, cause you had a music video to shoot.
I didn't think that you wanted to do it, so I didn't call.
I told you to call me. What? If you asked me to watch him, I said yeah.
Because I had to go to Devin's birthday balloon release, so I just canceled it. Wait, you said you did. What time did you get out?
4:30. Dude, y'all getting them tomorrow. Like, dude, can you be patient?
Could you be patient? Your nephew is how long?
What the hell? Like, Taylor, y'all stay the ass. I keep telling you. Tomorrow. Like, what's the problem with tomorrow? As soon as he gets out of daycare, I will drop him off.
Okay, I understand that. I understand if we don't get him tomorrow. Like, if you could,
Ready up, TJ. Twins, ready up.
What's y'all's lineup?
Huh?
What's y'all's lineup?
3 proam.
Oh.
Why do you have blue shoes on, bruh? Get some white ones. You didn't think about that, did you? Twist your mic muted.
Ready up, nigga?
Hey, Twist.
What?
You wanna talk about that conversation?
My fucking sister, dude.
I don't know what we heard.
What's her name? Do I got to go to his?
Uh, hell no.
So don't you got work?
Yo.
Why she? Nothing. I'm gonna stay out of it. I'm going to stay out of it, Twizzler. Yeah, I'm not losing to a nigga named Out West. It's worse than Juggernauts.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, shit.
You have blue shoes on, sir.
Oh. Oh, never mind. Are they trying to... These are my... Those are my proam shoes.
Well,
This
you're in
nigga big as shit.
pronouns.
No, sir. I'm not jamming. Yes, I am.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my son at anyway?
uh, Doing something for a speeding ticket. That's not good. As soon as I leave that guard position, it struggles.
Damn.
Also, these niggas fresh.
Uh,
Mm. Hush. You had your chances.
why are you reaching? Getting me past though. Oh my. Thank you.
I'm trying to do one. I'm trying to get one.
Mm.
Trying to crab you. You never rob nobody.
Somebody gotta do it.
Some gunplay. Man. Shoot.
I just put this little kid with that body up on him.
Nobody. Shit. Damn.
Mm. Damn.
That nigga 290.
Bullshit. Shit.
Those are the motherfucking touches. I mean, this is like my phone. So I'm fucking stand. Yeah.
Turn it up.
See, I done put time after time in the game. I feel like I'm sticking in the
No.
Oh,
Off his fucking noggin.
that was gonna be green. Shit, bro, you don't make this.
Oh.
Oh,
I can't even
I
see the
couldn't, I
ball.
couldn't see the ball. I couldn't see the ball either.
Big ass nigga.
That nigga big.
And getting bitched.
body. I felt like it was
Slow ass nigga. Slow ass nigga. Slow ass nigga.
coaching me like a king. He was like his game. He want to professional player.
That nigga ain't grabbed the rebound in a minute. Green. He made it.
Just one. I won. I won.
That is what I like to see.
Oh, Showtimebj.
Steve's a badge. Mm, 700 VC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the time niggas gave me a finger to speak in my mind. I'm trying to break it.
Oh, bro.
Oh, I'm horny.
0 for 4.
Speak in my mind. I'm trying to break up.
Turn it up.
Gratata.
I want to add that to the record song.
Look who's back from Atlanta, huh? Oh, I see.
My flight was a little bit delayed.
Ah, okay. How was Atlanta? It was all fine? So what'd you do? I know you went to see your aunt.
I have 29 out of 30 badges.
Oh, what y'all do?
I'm trying to break up.
Oh, nothing, huh? Okay, before you even get the line,
Ready up, nigga?
one opportunity.
I'm upgrading.
I told you I went to see my aunt.
Okay.
That's the one reason I went over there for like.
For Atlanta, okay, that's it.
Come on, ready up, nigga.
See some friends.
Yeah, I ended up seeing my friends.
Let's cut that bed on.
We just
Yeah,
didn't
nigga.
and we're just together.
Oh, okay. Well, my boy that follows
Bitch,
you
I'm
on
a
your
big
close
gangster.
friends,
Turn and fall in love.
seems different. Okay, yeah. This seems like nothing,
Bro,
huh?
on my screen, you airball.
This seems like nothing, huh? Yeah, close friends, right?
I said on my screen, nigga.
Lamborghini, huh? What was my friend? Oh, you in a Lamborghini?
Your friends are just talking. Just trying
Oh.
Joey Smacker on my screen, you airball.
to the time. Let me tell you.
So what's this? So what's this? This ain't you?
Hey, hey, hey!
The double R in your life.
Oh, how much
I
they
think we
pay
playing
you?
them again.
I'm pulling up in your city, Lamborghini.
Let me explain.
So why'd you lie? Look at I just caught you in a lie. Come on, stop it.
The reason why I went on. I know, but I didn't tell you because you always get upset.
Oh, I get upset because you go out with your friends, but you going down there to see your auntie, but you got a close friend, which I'm not on your close friends, and you went double R. Now you big meat. You go down there and turn into big meat.
We're playing the same people.
Oh, shit.
You got more stories than
Yeah,
what
shit,
you
no.
Oh, wow. So check this out. You think this is gonna butter me?
They're
up?
leaving Braylon open.
Every time you go out,
No, I don't know. So you gonna think you just gonna give me some shoes, huh?
yeah,
And everything's gonna be good. How do you get the money to get these?
you think I'm broke like that? Like I got a job. I got a job and I get
Come on, man.
And one. I should have passed it out. That was Twiz.
Come Come on now. How long you been saving for that? I don't know. You just lied to me. I don't know. I just don't know what to believe now.
You keep saying the same
Oh,
stuff. Like, you don't
I just caught you right
he
here.
shoots like me.
I think you did give me this jump.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, but he don't play D like me.
Alright, bitch.
Born at night, not last night. I was born at night, not last night. So before you
Hey,
continue,
he was born that night, not last night.
you hit the road.
You never trust me. Like,
Hit the road, Jack.
problem right now.
I ain't gonna lie, you gotta hit the road, Jack.
You want to work our relationship like you
Nope, I ain't
You
got
don't
time.
love me, then that's not love.
See, you
If
trying
you
to
don't
set
stop
me
getting
off.
bopped,
Always that talk
Get
about
out.
love me.
move, Braylon.
Stuttering.
Okay.
Nigga trying to box me out.
Steady. Come on, you
Nigga
can
trying to
hit the
box
road.
me out.
I'm sorry, it ain't in me no more. Take the shoes. Leave the shoes.
Oh, bro.
Leave the shoes if you really care, you would leave the shoes.
Oh, no steal?
If you really care,
No,
you leave the shoes and leave and let me think about it for a
he's
few. I
slow.
don't know.
I'll holler at you. Braylon for 3.
Look.
I got bored. This little ass nigga.
Let me think.
Little tiny fucker.
That nigga soft as fuck.
Well. Look who's back from Atlanta.
Who jump shot do you have on?
This nigga don't pass the ball.
Oh, okay. I was in Atlanta.
Trying to look at the speed sheet.
That's a terrible pass to him.
Yes,
I
it's
don't
good
know.
now.
What'd you do?
What do you mean, where is that? You went to see my aunt.
I know you went to see your aunt, but what else you do?
I went to see my aunt, and I just came in for a couple of family friends.
Oh, what y'all do?
She know I go dumb when I pump for you.
Oh, nothing, huh? Okay, before you even get the line, I'm gonna give you one opportunity. What did you do?
Wow.
I told you I went to see my aunt.
Okay.
That's the one reason I went over there for, like...
For Atlanta, okay, yeah, that's it.
It's not my fault.
What if that was the thing your child needed most?
It was hot when I could baby, yeah. But as time went on, the red flags started going up.
From the moment she was born, Ashlyn Blocker didn't cry when she was hungry or had diaper rash, or even when, at just 8 months old, her parents took her to the eye doctor.
Damn.
Everyone just kind of gasped. She had a big corneal abrasion across her eye. They were astonished she wasn't in pain.
It was then her parents got the shocking, devastating news. Their baby couldn't feel any pain.
Where's milk?
It was scary because, there weren't very many good outcomes that were involved with this condition. People passing away just because they didn't have the warning signs and bone infections.
I understand that the toddler years were some of the worst, where she would continue to injure herself.
The biting, her burning her hands, different things. Tara actually would wrap her hands up with athletic tape. She'd be our little boxer.
Photo after photo document injuries that pained her parents, but not their little girl. What is it like for you to send her out the door every day, knowing what can happen without you there to watch?
It was rough at first.
A medical mystery that for Ashlyn, 12, I love this room.
Thank you.
I love the color. Is just a normal part of life. How would you describe to somebody like me who feels like to not have any pain?
It's just me. It's all I ever known.
You tell me which finger you feel it on, okay? Okay.
Hoping to learn more about this rare condition, researchers at the University of Florida have been testing Ashlyn since 2004. And a few years ago, were able to pinpoint the exact gene that affects how strongly pain signals are sent to the brain. Findings that may one day lead to new pain treatments.
There's a reason for everything, and Ashlyn's here for a reason.
For today, Ashlyn, just a normal 12-year-old girl who loves pageants and playing in the school band. And crocheting. It's turned into a fundraising tool for an astonishing family project. All of these you're going to sell you to raise money for a camp.
Yep. Ashlyn had a dream one night that we started a camp for families like us. I knew instantly what I was meant to do.
is most likely if you have to drink coffee, it's most likely because your endocrine system is not functioning properly. Anytime you have to consume a stimulant, whether it's nicotine, coffee, or sugar, that means your glands of the body need to be stimulated. Not only that, but anytime you isolate any part of a plant, specifically caffeine, you have to realize that it's damaging to the body. Isolated foods do damage to your body. If you have to drink coffee, it's most likely because your endocrine system.
The subject of black history is in dispute in some quarters. A man named J.A. Rogers, who was laughed at 20, 30 years ago, not taken seriously at all, is being taken very seriously these days. A new book called Great Black Men of Color has been edited by our guest tonight, Professor John Henry Clark. Professor Clark, there are some rather startling, to put it mildly, revelations made in the book about certain presumed facts of history that I certainly will not stick with the general white historical community.
Well, I'll tell you, it became almost necessary for the Europeans to brighten up a part of black history when they began to take over the world in the 15th and the 16th century. And what Rogers has done is gone back and taken a whole lot of the white away and showed you the original black faces of people in history. In this two-volume work, World's Great Men of Color, Volume 1 is devoted to the Old World, and Volume 2 is devoted to the New World. The first thing he does
Check
is
the
to
group chat, Twiz.
in proper context and to show Egypt and the great personalities of ancient Egypt as black people. And it might be startling, but he reveals that Cleopatra did not look like Elizabeth Taylor and wasn't a white woman at all. And I think his book starts in Egypt with the other great characters in Egypt, Imhotep, the real father of medicine, father of architecture, builder of the step pyramids, forerunner of astronomer, a man who was accepted as a god in Europe long before the birth of Christ. Imhotep lived about 5,000 years ago. And early Europe accepted quite a few Africans as deities. Imhotep was one of them. He opens the book actually.
Damn.
This great African who was
Fuck.
Hood, I hop stepped. I don't know why it made me run into that nigga. I hop stepped. Only one nigga can shoot, bro. Double team him. Double team point. Double team point. Double team point. Double team point.
Your boy wanna be author of Pimp God,
Oh.
which your mama should have told you. Available on Amazon.com. Also author of Milk, spelled with 2 K's.
Double team point.
Intelligence. Also co-author of, with James Jerome Bell, The Science of Greatness, and spelled with $2 signs. Also
Someone shut
available
him
on
up.
Amazon.
You got peer lock on you, bro.
Corner.
There are persons who have a capacity
Right.
You
God
got a pure
damn,
lock on you,
man.
bro.
That is 1,000,000 times greater
That's the
than the
damn law.
capacity and use of those who keep this knowledge secret.
Damn.
Those who keep this knowledge secret are known as secret societies. But the knowledge
Y'all taking
inherent in these secret societies is all
That's not
centered
him.
around those
That's a
that they
oop.
keep the knowledge from who have this greater capacity.
I'm gonna need my shooters to be able to get open, or I'm going to get my point guard.
I recently
That's not good.
saw a video that was breaking down the
Oh my
COVID-19
god, bro. Come on.
vaccine and that
Right, get out my way, bro.
given by Bill Gates,
Oh my god.
suggesting that there are people who are
Shoot,
ultra
nigga. They not even
religious.
good, bro. I promise
He
you.
was talking about, and he showed the difference in their brain and the average person's brain, which means them.
They not doing nothing spectacular.
And there's this bright orange light that is illuminated in the scan of the hyper-religious. This light, I believe, is the evidence of the soul. Something that
Have
those
him
who
on the screen, bro.
don't lack.
Oh, still?
And so, being that the universe is changing, right? Returning returning order to the chaos that was brought about by
Have on the
those who
screen, bro.
since that's coming back in order, then the energy that's coming into the universe is going to be in
Fast,
alignment
nigga.
with those who have soul. Those who have soul are wired to handle this level of vibration. Look into spontaneous combustion of Europeans. There's been hundreds of cases of them just literally going up in flames. That's because the soul is fire. And in the Bible, it says that God would never
You made it.
correct the world again by water, but that this time he would do it by
That's me.
fire. Which means that those who lack soul will be eliminated.
Good shot, nigga.
If you go on YouTube and look up, there are documentaries
Hip
on
hop, bro.
Europeans just going up in flames, and it's Europeans that's even talking about people that they, a man who was married to a woman, smoke, this fire
That's
just
me.
started coming out of her mouth, and she ended up dying after going in a coma once they were able to put the flame out. But they got pictures of limbs left, like hands or parts of limb, and the rest of it looks like cigarette ash. But the flame was very, very intense. This is what the earth is moving towards, a higher vibration. And people who are not natural are not going to survive.
What type of sexual relations you watching? If you go on YouTube.
For this reason, those who lack soul will possess a lesser capacity, right? Intended to replace the natural gift
Sigga Turner.
soul with something known as belief in religion. In the age of Pisces, it was the age of belief. It was a fall of man. The fall of man religious than white people. And that's because that dot, that glowing dot inside of our brain scan is prone to speak. So in this fall of consciousness, we out-Pope the Pope, we out-Muhammad Muhammad, we out-Jesus white people, even though Jesus is white. I didn't say Yeshua, I said Jesus. And I didn't say that Jesus actually existed. I said that in the age of Pisces, it was the age of deception. And in that age,
Did they open the door? That might be him, actually. No.
and we were sold religion in this age. What is religion? Religion is a deification of a race of people and their culture. This is why it's so difficult to have successful relationships with a lot of black women.
Good up.
Because they're still trapped in the age of deception. They think that the white man can hold a teaspoon to me. That's why they respect him more. That's why they do what he says at work, but not what I say at home. But such deification of the white race does not account for true deity. They deify themselves in almost like a mythology.
The past.
They gave us a white Jesus, a white God, white angels. It was all make-believe. Make-believe in the age of belief. She's still stuck. That's why she doesn't respect it. So long as black people remain religious, we will remain subject to those who lack true spirituality. And the white race on this plane of existence ruled during the age of Pisces or deception. That's why they were successful at giving us religion, even though we gave the world true knowledge, true education, and true spirituality. And what religion has told black people is that
Who's that?
all things occult, which just means hidden, all things satanic or black magic oriented is evil.
They giving this nigga.
What's really evil, right, is really where our power lies. See, black is Kim, me. Black people have the wiring to make use of this secret knowledge more than white people do.
He can shoot.
That's why being a black Mason doesn't mean shit. Because the real knowledge of the white Mason is knowing who the black man is. That's the highest level and degree of knowledge of the Mason. George Washington was a 32 or 33 degree Mason. I believe that he knew exactly who we were. He knows. He knew, I should say. But in that age of deception, we were under a haze. the essence of blackness, representing the chaos from which everything is created. The hidden mysteries of silence. See, historical fact is just as important as mythology, because the mythology is teaching you in its myths knowledge about yourself, powers that you have inside of you that you can't see, that you can't make use of because you don't realize it. So long as black people remain on the religious level of consciousness, we will never have access to the powers inherent in the kingdom of God within us, as Jesus talked about. The fall of man speaks to a fall of consciousness from a higher state of mind and being and body, which is what I mean by being, to a much lower physical state. And so in mythology, is really hidden secret knowledge of, for instance, the Eye of Horus mythology, or the Eye of Ra, the Wajet, or Ujat, meaning whole one, is a powerful symbol of protection in ancient Egypt, also known as the Eye of Horus, and the all-seeing eye. The symbol was frequently used in jewelry made of gold, silver, lapis wood, porcelain, and carnelian to ensure the safety and health of the bearer and
Oh my
provide
God, I'm trying to pass this shit.
prosperity. What we're seeing then is that this is used as a form of alchemy. My success incense, for instance,
Baby.
has alchemical properties in it, natural properties in it that are blended, which means I have to use a blender in order to make the solution or that I put on the incense. So it has to be blended because some of those elements are solid.
Okay.
So it has to be blended.
Like bread.
And we see then that that's a natural part of our history, making use of, this is really energy. When I turn that solid into something broken down and then I mix it with other elements, right? You're talking about changing energy from one form to another, but it's the same energy. And there are certain components that are used in alchemy or magic that is used to attract wealth. It's a real science. The symbol was frequently used in jewelry made of gold, silver, lapis, wood, porcelain, and carnelian to ensure the safety and health of the bearer and provide wisdom and prosperity.
If
So
he
this
was
is
a
natural
demon,
things
we
that
would have
bring
lost.
prosperity and wealth to us and health. However, it was also known as the Eye of Ra, a powerful destructive force linked with the fierce heat of the sun, which was described as the daughter of Ra. The eye was personified as the goddess Wajet and associated with a number of other gods and goddesses, notably Hathor, Bas, Sekhmet, Tefnut, Nekbet, and Mut. Mut is also Nut, where we say the goddess of the night sky, but their oldest name is Mut. The Eye of Horus. Horus was an ancient sky god
Y'all end
whose
the game,
eyes
please.
were said
Oh
to
my
be the
god.
sun and the moon. However, he soon
Thank
became
God.
strongly
I'll be
associated
right
with
back.
the sun and the sun god Ra as Ra Horakti, Ra, who is Horus of the two horizons, while Thoth was associated with the moon. An ancient myth describes a battle between Horus and Set, in which Horus's right eye was torn out and Set lost his testicles. Thoth magically restored Horus's eye, at which point it was given the name Wajet, whole or healthy. In this myth, it is specifically stated that it is Horus's left eye which has been torn out. So the myth relates to the waxing and waning of the moon, during which the moon appears to have been torn out of the sky before being restored once every lunar month. There are a number of depictions of the restoration of the eye in Greco-Roman temples. Thoth is assisted by 14 gods, including the gods of the Ennead of Hermopolis, or 30 male deities in Ismat el Karab and Dakla. Each god represented one of the 15 days leading up to the full moon and the waning moon. The restored eye became emblematic of the reestablishment of order from chaos, thus closely associated it with the idea of Mat or Ma'at. This is important because there's an ancient story about Tahuti having a conversation with the multi-genius Imhotep, in which Tahuti described what happened to the black man in detail, and it caused Imhotep to cry. And Imhotep asked Tahuti, with tears in his eyes, would we ever come back from this low level? So in other words, we knew thousands upon thousands of years before the white man and before the age of deception what was going to happen to us. That's a fact. And you can prove that to yourself by looking up something known as the wheel of the heavens. The wheel of the heavens. In order for the sun to have a great year, it has to go through the 12 processions of the zodiac, which almost takes 26,000 years. So when I mention a greater wheel of the heavens, you're talking about being able to tell thousands of years ahead what's coming. The only reason that we're able to tell what time it is or what month it is, the hour, the minute, the second, is from the precession and movement of the sun. That means that the black man had to have mapped that, watching it for at least 26,000 years. Ain't nobody fucking with us. Ma'at will be restored. In one myth, Horus made a gift of the eye to Osiris to help him rule the netherworld. Osiris ate the eye and was restored to life. As a result, it became a symbol of life and resurrection. Offerings are sometimes called the Eye of Horus because it was thought that the goods offered became divine when presented to a god. The Eye of Horus was believed to have healing and protective power and was used as a protective amulet. capacity to handle this level of vibration, which means that those who lack soul will be eliminated. Since that's coming back in order, then the energy that's coming into the universe is going to be in alignment with those who have soul. Those who have soul are wired to handle this level of vibration. Look into spontaneous combustion of Europeans. There's been hundreds of cases of them just literally going up in flames. That's because the soul is fire. And in the Bible, it says that God would never correct the world again by water, but that this time he would do it by fire. Which means that those who lack soul will be eliminated.
DiGiorno has 7 delicious crusts, and your family food critics will rave. Croissant crust is flaky layers of buttery bliss. Rising crust is fresh baked deliciousness. There's a 5-star pizza for everyone in your family to love. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
This is a mystery even Sherlock Holmes wouldn't be able to solve. Imagine coming home one day to your partner. You put the key in the door and say something along the lines of, "Hey honey, I'm home." There's no reply. You go to the kitchen and she's not there. So you enter the living room only to be met by the most gruesome thing you've ever seen or will see. Your nearest and dearest is a pile of smoldering ashes on the floor. Well, there's a foot, still wearing the Nike shoes that she just bought. Besides the immediate area under her, the rest of the room is fine. It's as if she just went up in flames and combusted all by herself. You, as well as the investigators that later arrive, have no idea how this happened. A week later, the newspaper stated,
BJ.
unknown. That might sound like something from a tale of the Twilight Zone, but it has happened before. Many times, in fact. The term for it is spontaneous human combustion, which just means someone seemingly going up in flames, possibly without external factors being to blame. You've likely seen such a thing in horror movies, but it's not something we expect to see in real life. First, we'll present to you a case of this happening, and then we'll try and find out why it happens. The year is 1951, and it was a steamy, hot summertime in Florida, USA.
Forgot about that.
The landlady of a woman named Mary Hardy Reeser had a telegram for her renter, and so she went around to the house. Only she put her hand on the doorknob, and it felt kind of hot. That worried her, and so she called the cops. The police opened the door and had to shock of their lives. Because when they entered the living room, what they witnessed was pretty much a bunch of smoldering ashes in a burnt-out chair. The only part of the woman not incinerated was the bottom part of her leg. One black shoe was still on her foot. We've seen the photo, and you can only imagine how this perplexed the cops. No one had broken into the house, and the fire had completely destroyed the woman from what seemed like within. It was like she had just gone up in flames, and not even moved from the chair. In that chair lay some backbone and a shrunken skull, along with other bits of bone fragments. The news reports actually said her skull was shrunk to the size of a cup. Police, the fire department, and pathologists were baffled. Had she caught fire, she would have moved or called for help. How could a body just burn like that? It seemed to some people as if she had burned from the inside and that she must have gone up in a very intense blaze. It would have taken extremely high temperatures to cremate a person on the spot. The U.S. media was in a frenzy about this, with one outlet calling it the case of the Cinder Woman mystery. And a mystery it was. Perhaps the media said the loving mother had been somehow hit by a freak lightning strike. Someone said a ball of fire came through the open window and it...
A lot of people don't know this, but the best way to make money with Amazon in 2021 is not by selling physical products on Amazon like everyone thinks. I know that might come as a shocker and that might sound crazy. How do you even make money with Amazon without selling physical products? But
it hit her. I've seen it happen. No one was sure, though. Although some outlets started to peddle the theory of internal human combustion, it wasn't a new thing. There were reported cases of it happening for centuries. The investigation found no traces of accelerants such as gasoline or other combustible fluids. It really seemed like she had gone up in flames. One of the investigators said it was the most unusual case I'd seen during my almost 25 years of police work. That same investigator then turned to anyone who might have knowledge of this, issuing a note that read, "We request any information or theories that could explain how a human body could be so destroyed and the fire confined to such a small area, and so little damage done to the structure of the building and the furniture in the room, not even scorched or damaged by smoke." And so came back a theory, although one that a lot of people didn't really accept. The theory was called the Wick effect. To explain this, you need to know some things about our dearly departed Mary. 1, she took sleeping pills, and 2, she was said to be a very enthusiastic smoker of cigarettes. She was also on the larger side, and let's just say she was flabby. Hey, she was 67 and lived alone. She liked to eat. So the theory goes that she might have taken some of those pills and then fallen into a deep sleep. As she hardly ever had a cigarette out of her hand, her daughter would later confirm it. She might have fallen asleep with that smoke still going. She was wearing a nightgown made of rayon acetate, which could have easily gone up in flames. So, said the theorists, her smoke caused the gown to catch fire, and then, as she couldn't wake up, she slowly burned until she melted much like a candle left to burn. Beside the chair, there was nowhere for the fire to go.
Bruh.
As she had so much fat on her, that could have
You
helped the
fucking
smoke.
screens you fucking need, sorry ass dude.
Explain things for you? Likely not. And it didn't impress a lot of scientists either. One skeptical scientist said the obvious thing, in that for such a cremation to happen, she would have had to burn at several thousand degrees for several hours. He added, "I cannot conceive of such a complete cremation without more burning in the apartment." He also asked about a shrunken skull. In a normal fire, it would have exploded. He wrote,
Yeah, but man, she went a really long one. Yeah, no, 6 to 8 minutes is quite a long time for a speech. Actually, now you mention it. No, I'm feeling real warm. I don't think. We better get the nurse. Yeah, I don't know. Don't you want to go to our favorite class? No, I'm not feeling so well. Hey! We should put more alcohol there.
Go ahead, it's over there.
Here, Eric, dump some in that little bucket thing.
Show us some Rick. Let's run some Rick.
You'll need a little gas to get you through the next payday with this new feature called Spot Me. Cover up to $100 until you...
At Metro by T-Mobile, we know you work hard, so we make switching easy.
Hi everybody, my name is Letitia. I run a communication agency that is specialized in producing online content for big companies worldwide. 2 years ago, a client called me. He wanted me to create a compelling equity story to attract young people to invest in his blue chip company. It proved out to be impossible. Big companies have a big problem. Young people won't invest in them anymore. Instead, young people will invest in people. And by invest in people, I mean literally invest in people, not the HR blah blah way. Let me give you some facts. 45% of generation 4...
Y'all in the park or where y'all at?
I said let's run some Rick.
We're gonna be the 5.
There's 8 people in this party.
Nobody talking.
Who died and named you Supreme Leader?
They go Trey. Ghost in here, but I don't know. You know how he get to acting. He don't want to run.
Guys have a prox for me. Where's BJ?
Oh no, he being weird.
He said he'd be right back or something, didn't he? What are you talking about, Rick? I ain't even got respect.
Where's the public speaker? I mean,
Oh, goodness. Well, it sounds like Joseph's over there watching, it sounds like he's over there watching something, is what it sounds like.
He probably one of them. Put on some sexual healing.
Oh my god.
He gay.
Niggas.
If you go to YouTube and search.
What the fuck is wrong with this nigga voice?
Making things.